Good evening, everyone. This is Chris on IMTM Worldwide Radio, and this is the Women in Business Show. It's been a while. Had a little bit of hiatus, so I'm glad to be back. This is a recorded show on the podcast, so you can call in 646-652-4479 is the number, of course. I want to take a few seconds to, of course, remind everybody you can follow the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube page right now. Take a few seconds. Go ahead and knock that out. You can also follow on Facebook and Instagram. And on Twitter is IMTM Radio. And just a quick announcement, very soon, the website for IMTM Worldwide Radio will be live. I can't wait for that to happen. Now, tonight's show is brought to you by Price Design Club. If you see the little scroll on the bottom there, Price Design Club is a company that I've worked with for a long time. If you have a business and how you present yourself matters, you need to hit them up. They do all types of design work on the logo side. Everything that you know how to present yourself to the world, you need to hit them up. They actually created let's see, I could do this. They created the Power of Women logo for my documentary. They also created both of my logos for my sports show around the ATL, as well as other things over the years. So make sure you hit them up on Instagram, Price Design Club. Make sure you let them know the Women in Business Show sent you. Now, that being said, let's get into tonight's show. So, owning a business is not easy. Creating something from scratch, learning from mistakes, overcoming obstacles, growing the business, the process can be very difficult. Many people quit early, never really giving themselves a chance. What happens if you push through, though, and become successful? Our guest tonight on the Women in Business Show is Majeedah Giddens. Not only did she start her own business, but she has taught others how to do the same. She's opened up her own location. She's expanded services and much more. We're going to talk about how Scenic City Aesthetics came to fruition, operating her business, what she offers, and many other things about the future and other things about her. Now, I've known Majeedah for over 10 years now, and she's one of the smartest and most determined women I know. Let's go ahead and bring in our guest tonight, Miss Majeedah Giddens. How you doing, Majeedah?
Hey,
What's
how are
going
you?
on? I am doing fine. Can't wait to get started tonight. Now, just to let y'all know, like I said, I've known Majeedah for a very long time. So I know she's a little bit nervous tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and get it out of the way for everybody. So we'll make sure that you have a good time here. Okay. Now, for the audience who might not know you, go ahead and give a brief intro of yourself, where you're from, where you are now, the name of your business again, and what you do.
Okay, my name is Majeedah Giddens. Most of you call me MJ. I am originally from Compton, but I live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I am an esthetician. My business is MJ Scenic City Aesthetics, and I offer a lot of different things, but microchanneling, dermaplaning, microdermabrasion, a bunch of advanced treatments, along with customized facials and lash extensions.
Okay, that's a lot, by the way. Now, let me ask you this real quick. So you mentioned Compton, California. So some people would say that where you're from makes you into the person you end up becoming. Would you agree with that? Tell us a little bit about growing up there in Compton.
I grew up in Compton in the 90s, and so it was definitely an interesting time to be out in California. I would say since I went back to California, was in Compton last March. My father passed, so I went to his funeral. And it actually was a lot nicer and more calm then. But yeah, growing up in the 90s out in California was a lot of shooting, a lot of drive-bys, a lot of high crime areas. So I learned a lot of just survival tactics and skills and things like that. And I'm thankful for growing up there. It definitely shaped me into the person that I am, today for sure.
Okay. That's a lot going on there during those times.
Yeah.
So with that being said, like, what would you say were some of your initial goals just growing up? And did anything occur that made you specifically want to even change your environment over a period of time? But what were some of your initial goals growing up?
In Compton, just honestly not getting killed when I was outside trying to play. I know it's like a lot of shootings and stuff in the movies, but that was a very that really happened a lot. Like I really couldn't play in front of my house. It was drive-bys all the time. I remember one instance I was outside playing, and this guy jumped the fence, and he was just like bleeding everywhere. He got shot, and then the rival gang members that he was, into with was chasing him through the yard. And I'm just sitting there watching him bleed and them chase him and, shoot after him. And so it was very dangerous. I honestly didn't get a chance to ever really go outside the gate and play until I moved to Chattanooga in like '99. I actually could say I had like a real childhood when I moved to the South, and I was actually able to go outside and, play and be a kid, because we weren't really able to do that much there in Compton. Yeah, so.
That's really serious right there. And I know there's this things that, like you said, people would say stuff about the movies and things of that nature, and you really lived it. Like it really did happen. You can attest to that. So
I did. I went to school right next to Kelly Park with the Kelly Park Crips. So yeah, it was a real thing.
Oh wow, okay. Well, yeah, that's definitely a real thing at that point. So tell us a little bit about Chattanooga. Since you mentioned you moved there and everything. I hear that it's growing. But tell us a little bit about Chattanooga and just your time there since you moved from California.
Chattanooga is such a beautiful place, and when I moved here in '99, so much has changed since then. Even I moved to the South, went to school in Calvin Donaldson, Alton Park area, and my business is actually back out in the Alton Park area now. And from when I was living out here versus now, I mean, it's like luxury condos and townhomes and apartments, and it's so much has changed. Chattanooga is growing so much. And I'm just in a really great area now. I know back when I was younger, it's considered kind of like the hood, I guess. But I mean, it has grown a whole lot since '99. But Chattanooga has, like I said, grown a whole lot. There's so much to do here. I used to feel like I had to go to Atlanta and Nashville to go find things to do. But honestly, it's so much to do here. You just kind of got to get out and get downtown. So many new businesses have opened here, and we have a lot of things to do here now. So you definitely should come back and let me show you around.
It's been a while since that one time I was there, and I remember that one time I was there, and there was just times I was shaking my head, Majeedah. I just remember that now.
Remember,
So
that area now is so nice. It's so nice now.
So I'm definitely going to plan that out. So my next question is the big one. So with everything being said so far, I remember, just for the audience sake, I remember I was about to leave FedEx office. I had just printed some copies of whatever, and I was about to leave, and then you called me. And that was when you initially told me that you were going to go to school to learn aesthetics. And so I parked my car and, listened to you break everything down. So what led up to that decision initially, as far as you saying, okay, I'm gonna go to school to do this specifically? Well, let's go there first.
You know what, honestly, I kind of just ended up in aesthetics by mistake. I honestly was scrolling on Instagram one day, and I saw this girl microblading, and that's just like a semi-permanent tattoo for your eyebrows. And so I saw her microblading, and she was making like $600 a client. I was like, dang, I want to, that's some good money. And so I'm just kind of researching it. At that time, it wasn't regulated where you had to have, I thought that I had to have an aesthetic license, right? Because it's part of beauty and brows and all that kind of stuff. And so that's why I initially went to school for that. But I mean, it was good for me to learn brow shading and things like that. But once I really was trying to get into the microblading and the micro shading, I needed a tattoo license. And so I ended up getting that too. I am a licensed tattoo artist. But that's how I fell into it. And then by that time, I was already so invested in it. I said, I might as well go ahead and learn these other things. And I can just really put all this together and just create a nice business for myself. So I just stayed with it. And I ended up loving it. So now I'm really happy that I accidentally became an esthetician.
Hey, some accidents are good, right?
Sure.
So after you did graduate, what was it that you did first? Let's go through that process a little bit. What did you do first, and was it easy? Because I remember how you initially, you started. So kind of give the audience a little bit of essence of that a little bit.
So I initially went to go work at a place here. Like the day after I graduated, actually, I went in there working just like reception stuff until I was able to get, pass my boards and go and get my license and everything. And I worked there for about 6 months, and I ended up going to get like a salon suite. And I just rented it by the day. I was renting one day at this salon suite here, and I built my clientele to fill that day up, and then I went to 2 days, and then 3 days, and so on until I was able to fill my schedule up to be able to have my own salon suite, like my own room, because I was in a shared room at the time. It wasn't even my room. I was just there like that one particular day, and I would like pack all my stuff up, and I was out. And then I was able to had enough clientele to be able to get my own room, and I just built and kept building. And then I was just blessed to find this location. I just came here, and I've been here since, and I really love this area. I'm really glad that I moved out this way.
So when you say you moved, that means you know actually got your own location. So is that when did you decide to create Scenic City? As far as you were working in someone else's spot basically, and just kind of building your craft, building your clientele as you mentioned. I might want to ask you kind of how you ended up building your client base, but how did you end up getting a location on your own? I mean, that couldn't have been easy.
No, it wasn't easy at all. Just working. Like I said, I didn't have anybody helping me with any type of financial anything. I just went out on my own, worked and saved, and I bought things here and there, a bed here, a steamer there. And so I bought enough things for me to have my own location, and found a space and was able to decorate it like I wanted to decorate it. And just piece by piece, I just put it together. Like I said, I've been an esthetician since 2017. I've had my own business since 2018. So I just been building. I mean, I'm still building now. So it's been a journey, nothing overnight at all.
Of course not. So hard work pays off, folks, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that you did in the midst of all of this was creating a mechanism to where you could teach others in regards to what you do. So, and I remember you initially putting that together in the classes that you had. So tell us a little bit about that. Because you created a whole coursework and things of that nature. Tell us about how you did that, and was there any examples of anybody that stood out that you did teach that completed your coursework?
So I actually ended up creating my own course because I was just so the courses that I took from people, I really didn't like them at all, and I just felt like I didn't get my money's worth. I left feeling like I didn't really understand the work, and so I just didn't like the way that it felt, and so I wanted to change that, and so I've taken several courses, and I'm not going to say everybody that I took was bad, because I did have some really great coaches or trainers that classes that I did take. And so I just took everything that I learned, and me practicing and put it into a manual. And I had my students, sit down with me. I created like a 2-day course. So some of classes was different, depending on where I was at. But just like a 2-day hands-on course, and I want them to come back and lash the actual client with me so I can watch them do it, because it's one thing to lash on a mannequin, but actually working on a client by yourself, like that's like a lot. And so I just wanted them to feel comfortable when they left me and feel like they can go out and actually start their business and be successful, versus feeling like they didn't really learn anything, and they needed to take another class, how I felt. It is some students that did stand out, and they live in Nashville, and they end up using it. They went to go and get hired at certain places down there, so I'm really proud of them for doing that.
So some people actually travel from other places to Chattanooga then, in that case, correct?
They did.
Oh, wow, that's pretty awesome right there.
And I went to Nashville, and I taught there, and I had some people come from Arkansas and Knoxville and in Nashville. So yeah, they did come, even some from Atlanta. They did.
Wow, that's pretty impressive right there. So let me ask you this. What are some of the services that you provide now, and are there any services that you look to or that you're looking to provide in the future?
Well, there are several services that I provide, honestly. Micro channeling is probably my favorite, is my newest service. And I just call it like the fountain of youth in like one service. It tightens, it helps with fine lines and wrinkles, it helps with acne spots and just all types of stuff. And so I really like micro channeling. Um, it's a lot of things I want to do in the future, honestly. But yeah, it is some machines that I'm looking at purchasing in the near future. And I'll be posting all that stuff as soon as I figure out which ones those are. But it's a few that I'm looking at right now.
Okay, that sounds exciting to me.
Mhm.
Now, what are some, now, again, we're talking about, this is the Women in Business show, everybody, of course. So when you're talking about starting a business, especially from scratch, what have been some of your biggest obstacles? Because again, we talked about how it's not been easy and things of that nature, but has there been things that almost maybe made you stop or change your mind completely? And also, what are some of your successes that you say have stood out to just say, okay, yeah, I'm making it. I'm doing this right
Hmm. Honestly, as much as I love my business, it's definitely been times where I'm like, I absolutely quit and I'm done and I'm not posting anything. It can get frustrating. Like my business, it's like it's like a kid, like it frustrates me sometimes, but I love it. I don't think I can ever really give it up. But I want to say an obstacle. My dad's passing, even though he passed, I want to say a Saturday night. I was right back at work on Tuesday. Because your bills don't care that you're sad and whatever's going on, neither does your kids. Honestly, nobody does. But that was definitely one thing where I was like, it's just a lot and I need to take a break. But I didn't. But that was one thing that definitely almost made me kind of stop. But my dad wouldn't have wanted that, so I just pushed through it. But that's for sure something that wasn't an obstacle, but it also motivated me too because it pushed me on to really grow. And I've done some really amazing things even since like last year with him passing. So yeah.
Anything in particular? And sorry for your loss, of course, again.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, I'm a pre-nursing student now, so
Wow.
that's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot. I've been studying all weekend, but that's definitely something different or something new. I have gained an amazing mentor, Miss Candace Holyfield. She has created over 20 multi-millionaire or millionaire spa bosses herself. So that's my mentor, and I absolutely love her. And even with me just working with her in this short amount of time, she's given me so many new ideas and things that I'm implementing. It's so much stuff that I'm, working, trying to get it all done. But she's just a wealth of information, and I'm really thankful to finally be able to work with her because she's somebody I've looked, admired for years. And so it's just like a major blessing to even be able to contact her and ask her things and pick her brain. And she's just so freely like, yeah, X, Y, and Z. So I'm thankful for that. Um, I actually started a skincare line. Nobody knows. That's the first time you're hearing it here tonight.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, so it's called Scenic City Skincare by MJ. And my first product is I named it a dark spot fading pads. And most of my clients are concerned with dark spots, hyperpigmentation on their skin. And so it has some really great powerhouse ingredients. It's great at brightening skin and fighting hyperpigmentation. And so I'm waiting on my labels to get done. Hopefully this week I'll be posting how to get the labels, get the product shot and everything. But I'm hoping to be able to tell everybody about it or at least show everybody what I have this week. I'm just waiting on them to let me know something. But that's something new also.
Well, I'm gonna give it to you. You held that one back. I'm not. Y'all, they got me. They got me from thinking that. Congratulations. I'm excited
Thank
for you as
you.
far as that goes, for sure.
Thank you.
Um, one other thing I did want to bring up now, again, this is the Women in Business show. So we've talked about how she began. We talked about education. We talked about building her business. We talked about obstacles. We talked about some of her accomplishments. With all that going on, Majeedah is also raising two beautiful young women. One of them is about to drive, and the other one's about to start flying airplanes. I know, right?
Yeah.
So how have you been able to manage just that part of, as well as you being independent also, obviously, too, that's not easy as well, but they are great young women, coming up. So how have you been able to manage just the space of business, personal time, family, and everything like that with two kids that are also in school? I hear they're doing great in school, by the way, too.
You know what? You just do it. It's not easy. Just being honest, I don't have much help. Like my sister is a major help. That's really the person that watches them. Like, hey, I got to go do this. I'm gonna drop them off, and she's a major blessing when it comes to that. But it's I just do it. I don't have a choice, and I don't make excuses for myself. And so they understand that what I'm trying to accomplish, what I'm working on, my goals, and they fully support me. They understand that every weekend, like all day yesterday, I was in the house studying from like 10 that morning. I fell asleep studying last night. I take them out and do things, but they just understand that the next couple of years, I have committed myself to understanding that I'm going to be at work. I'm going to be at home with them studying, and I'm going to be at school. I don't really have a social life. I might go see a friend once every 2 weeks, maybe once a month. But I am very, very focused, and that's just what it is. Just being a mom, I make sure that the free time that I do have is spent with them. And it's something that, we go out to eat or, maybe a movie night at home. But yeah, it's just my kids, my business, and school. That's it.
And one of you have to have a focus. You have to have a focal point, the end result, things of that nature. Without that, it's very difficult because now you're just doing stuff. You can't just do stuff when you say you're trying to build a business. And that's where some people don't have it within themselves to say, I have to accomplish this goal no matter what, right?
Absolutely. It's just I'm very intentional with anything that I do. Friendships, relationships, anything that I do is very intentional. And so that's, being intentional and just being very focused on what I'm doing. Even with me, trading, I have and being very disciplined too. I know the past few weeks I've been outside, on the weekends before school started because I knew that I would be, the next 10 weeks, I'm going to be very focused. I go to school full time. And so that's a lot. Like, even though I'm in school for 4 hours a day, so
that's a lot.
So you didn't have a lot of extra time.
So you didn't go to Paris to go see Beyonce?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I am going to see Beyonce, but it's not gonna be in Paris. I am gonna go see Beyonce though. I deserve.
I do. I was gonna throw that out there.
I deserve a good Beyonce concert.
What advice would you give someone that's a woman who might be watching or who will watch after the fact if they didn't get to see it live about if they're thinking about starting their own business? What advice would you tell somebody as far as whatever business they might be thinking about? What general advice would you give them?
Just go for it. And I know that sounds just so, cliche or regular or whatever, but it's not going to be a perfect time. It's not waiting. It's no point in waiting. Just go ahead and do whatever, of course, research it and look and, figure out exactly what it is. Be very intentional, be very specific, and just keep, do it. Just keep going and don't stop, because the only way that you lose or you fail is when you actually stop striving for whatever it is you're trying to reach. And so it might take you a lot longer than some people. It may seem like somebody might have started and took off way past you, but as long as you're only competing with yourself. And so just be very intentional, be very focused, and just start and don't stop until you get to what you want.
That is perfect advice and perfectly said. I appreciate that. Let's remind everybody, where is your business located again, and how can people book you as far as an appointment and just, find out more about you in general as far as all that you provide?
So mjsceniccity.com is my website. It has my address and my phone number located there. My Instagram is at Scenic City Aesthetics. All my information is there. Everything in my bio.
All right, sounds like a plan. Well, make sure everybody again, if you're watching for the first time, you're going to watch this tomorrow, next week, next year, or whatever. Make sure you support this young lady. She's been working very hard over the years. Like I said, I've known her forever, and I don't push people who I don't think doesn't deserve to be pushed. And with all that being said, she's definitely one who deserves all the accomplishments and success that she's had so far. Majeedah, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I'm hoping that you get a lot more business over the next, the summer is coming. People supposed to look good this summer, right? I'm just saying, right?
It definitely has been. I've been busy.
Everybody needs to go to Scenic City. Make sure you go talk to Majeedah. Until next time, Majeedah, and I will be making a trip out there to Chattanooga, don't worry. But until then, I hope to see you real soon, okay?
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, appreciate it. And that was Majeedah Giddens, again, of Scenic City Aesthetics. She's right there on the bottom of her Instagram, which also will have her website and everything else that she just mentioned. And again, just the fact that, you know, she's done so much in relatively a short period of time. You know, it's not like, you know, she's been around for 15 years or anything like that. Understand, literally, she said, by accident, aesthetics was where she was going to go. She took the classes, she did the coursework, she graduated, she went under somebody, started working, and she continued to move forward. And now she has a mentor that's going to help her move even more on the direction that she wants to go and continue to grow. You never know, might have a franchise in another 5 years or so. You never know. The point is that, like she said, don't wait. If you do have an idea, implement it. Put it into motion, go forward with it, and then don't stop. A lot of people, like I said in my intro, they quit before they even really get started because of that one little bump in the road or that first person told them no. You know, she's in pre-nursing school right now to learn a particular skill that it was required for her to be a nurse. But she's not actually going to be a practicing nurse, but she needs that for what she's doing. So she's willing to make that sacrifice in the time to do it. So just want to say thanks again for Majeedah coming on the show. I know she's been pretty busy. And again, if you've never watched the Women in Business show before, make sure you go subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio page. There's a whole block of women in business shows. I was not always doing a live stream. It was initially just a podcast. So I only have a few of the live versions, but if you want to go listen to past episodes where I've had doctors and lawyers and authors of published books and athletes and team presidents and all kind of different women, you can go to iHeartRadio or Amazon Music or Spreaker, Spotify, Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, and just type in Women in Business and you'll see it all. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here for this evening. I want to say, again, thanks to all who did get a chance to watch live and those who will watch after the fact. And I appreciate everybody who definitely supports the Women in Business show. I created it to highlight women who really have dedicated themselves to saying, I do want more and I can do this. Okay, so hopefully everybody had a nice evening. Until next time, I'll get out of here and y'all take care. Peace.